we've talked about important anchor partnerships from nutrition and ingredient companies all the way through to cosmeceutical as well as pharmaceutical companies. These are the critical anchor partnerships where we'll be developing molecules that are really going to change the world from a health and wellness perspective, impacting the lives of hundreds of millions of people.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. Joining me now is Ilan Sobel. He is the CEO of BioHarvest Sciences. And Ilan, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Steve, darling, it's a real pleasure to see you on a day where we have really achieved a major milestone in the company's history.
Yes, that is a partnership with a company called Tate & Lyle to develop a plant-based sweetener. And we'll talk about that in a second. But Tate & Lyle, tell me a little bit about this company.
Well, Tate & Lyle is a 100-year-old company, deep expertise and a world leader in ingredient solutions for healthier and tastier food and beverages. They have significant competence and capabilities and muscle in the sweetener world and broader ingredients world, and really is a fantastic partner that has today, with this announcement, really validated the power of our technology.
Yeah, so it's a sustainable plant-based sweetener. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, the partnership focus initially will be on actually focusing on developing botanical plant-derived sweeteners, which will enable the industry ultimately to have additional critical solutions to be able to provide the appropriate sugar replacement options so that consumers can enjoy better taste, better sustainability, and also, obviously, importantly, being plant-based and low calorie or no calories.
Yeah. Ilan, this really shows the sort of the breadth of the company. And you've talked about this in the past that the technology that you have can be used in a number of different industries in a number of different ways. And this is just one of those examples of what you were talking about.
Correct, Steve. We've talked about important anchor partnerships from nutrition and ingredient companies all the way through to cosmeceutical as well as pharmaceutical companies. These are the critical anchor partnerships where we'll be developing molecules that are really going to change the world from a health and wellness perspective, impacting the lives of hundreds of millions of people. And Tate & Lyle is a great example of a company with enormous distribution, customer relationships that ultimately, as we partner together to develop this plant-derived molecule, to be able to really provide the democratization that I talk about of better for you ingredient solutions to provide healthier beverages and foods. And ultimately, this is a critical part of the building blocks of generating a society which is anchored in the provision of healthier solutions.
Ilan, the other thing that Tate & Lyle has is as you mentioned, they're a 100-year-old company, so they've been around the block a couple of times and then some, but they have a lot of industry knowledge as far as the regulatory bodies and things like that. I would imagine that that's a big bonus having a company that's been through that already when you're about to embark on something like this.
Correct, Steve. I mean, when you look at a company with the depth that Tate & Lyle have, they're great partners. They have really best-in-class capabilities across the end-to-end value chain. And it's a real privilege for a company like BioHarvest Sciences to be able to partner with them on this very, very exciting journey of developing the next generation plant-based, non-nutritive sweeteners, ultimately to provide consumers with better, healthier solutions.
Yeah. And last question, and that is, you mentioned at the very beginning, this is a big step for the company and a big validation, as you said. Can you talk about sort of just how you take this now into the wrapping up this year and heading into 2025 with a major announcement like this?
Well, obviously, we've spoken a lot during the year about the performance of our business in our direct-to-consumer wellness business. And per our last discussion, when we announced our third quarter earnings, We demonstrated strong revenue growth, 101% revenue growth and 1,200 basis points improvement in our gross profit margin. And we provided very clear guidance for the fourth quarter, which requires continued momentum from a top line and gross profit growth perspective. We've talked a lot about our pipeline, intensive pipeline on the CDMO business unit. And I think today we've demonstrated one of the major catalysts that is in our pipeline and that we've been able to bring to the marketplace. And as I said earlier, we're really privileged to be partnering with a company of the echelon and of the grace of Tate & Lyle. And I think we're going to learn a lot through this process. And I believe with the spirit of partnership that we've already started working with, we're going to have some great outcomes that are going to ultimately, provide better solutions for food and beverage solutions for consumers.
Yeah. Tate and Lyle and Elon, it's sweeteners. There you have it. Yeah. Thanks very much, Elon. Good to see you.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Elon Sobel, he's the CEO of BioHarvest Sciences.